Welcome back to the channel, people. KG is back. It is time for a brand new video, and we are here today to talk about Daniel Farke and should his job be in jeopardy with 7 games to go. Now, is that insane talk, or can you see the point? We're going to get into that in just a moment, but before I do, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, drop your thoughts and comments below, which I'm sure you will when it comes to this topic. Big up to all members of the channel as well. Big up for that support. It really does go a long way. If you want to become a member, the link is in the description. So why am I speaking about this today? The reason why is because endless comments, endless messages on Instagram. By the way, follow me on there, KG1v1, asking or saying Farke should be sacked. And it's not just from a couple of the usual suspects. It's grown even with fans that believe in this guy or believed in him. They're seeing the cracks appear, and especially after that quote that he said after the Swansea game about us 100% going up, they feel like he's lost the plot. In an ideal world, here's my answer for this one, and it's kind of go in different directions. So stick with me, stay with me now, as Chad Johnson would say. In a perfect world, I would sack him. In a perfect world, we sack him, get in a coach that is capable, who can take us up and help us in the Premier League too. That would be my answer straight away. But this isn't a perfect world. There's a lot of moving parts, and I'll mention a few, and I hope you guys will chip in as well with some of the issues that we could contend with if we change our manager at this stage of the season. I would be all for it if you can guarantee me promotion, but there's no guarantees. There's also still the chance, by the way, that we get promoted with Daniel Farke. There is still that chance. I know that the form is in the absolute toilet right now, but there is still an opportunity for Daniel Farke and the players that he's entrusted all season long to turn this around and get us promoted via the top 2 without any need to sweat for the playoffs. There is still that opportunity, but he's making it hard for himself. So my answer is, if you could get in a coach that you entrust, then yes, but it's going to take a lot of work. If you're looking to get a coach from another club, you're going to have to pay compensation. You're going to have to negotiate with that club again at this stage of the season, which is difficult within itself. It's hard enough in the summer when they don't want to release coaches, let alone with 7 games to go. It's unrealistic, and that's the problem that we face. You're going to have to go with an out of work manager, and the one that I've seen a few of you mention is Steve Cooper, and I do understand this one. Steve Cooper has been there, done that with Nottingham Forest, who I would argue, I mean, look at what Forest are doing now. But in terms of where we were in the doldrums of below Premier League football, big club, big expectation from the fans, high expectations to deliver, and he did that at that football club. So he could come in, give this team a jolt, give them the new manager bounce, and we could go up happy days. There's also the thing, though, of Daniel Farke, for the most part, has got a settled group, and it could derail it a little bit. I mean, it already feels like it's been derailed, but completely take it off track if Daniel Farke is to be sacked at this point. Because, you know, even though, I mean, he clearly has his favorites, that's pretty obvious, but they've delivered for most parts of the season. They have. They've delivered for most parts. So is it worth running that risk now with 7 games to go? If you can get in Steve Cooper. If you guys have got other names as well, put them in the chat, because I do want your opinions when it comes to who you'd replace. Because my other thing as well is I don't want a short-term fix. That's something I don't want. Now, you could say, Cage, but you get up and then work it out in the summer. I understand that. But if you're getting in a manager now, you're going to have to basically pay him at least a year. A manager's not going to come in till the end of the season where we are and say, all right, then I got you promoted, cheerio in the summer. They're going to want an extended deal. So now you're going to have to work through the summer if you believe in this manager to keep him, which is great if you do. But if you don't, and you see yourself getting an even better manager in the summer, you're going to then have to part ways with this one, negotiate severance and everything else like that, and get in your new guy. That's what you're going to have to do. And I don't see, this is the problem, I don't see Leeds United doing this at all, not in the slightest. I think Parag has made his choice with Daniel Farke. We've gone through the video yesterday with something that he's questioned him about, reportedly. But he has given his full trust and backing to Daniel Farke. With Daniel Farke, though, all it is with this man is he needs to change a couple of things. But we said this last year. I said this last year. I'm not going to say we. I said this last year, and a lot of you agreed. It's just like, please, just do something different. Don't keep waiting. Now, listen, this season, he's done better with the substitutions, but the bar was in hell with that one. Last season, he was giving players 3 minutes to try and impress. Remember that disingenuous quote about Joseph last season? People are clamoring for Joseph to play, and he only has 1 goal in 15 league games. Never mind the context that he was only getting like 4 minutes a game. And we're running into that problem again with Ramazani just recently against Swansea. Comes on for like 20 minutes, but he's cold. He's got no match fitness. And that's because he hasn't been given ample playing time. And also with that period where we have 3 games in a week, there should have been changes for Millwall. DJ was tired. Solomon was looking a bit tired. And it crossed over from a Millwall win when I raised red flags in that one to say we might be in trouble against QPR, to coming home to roost against QPR. We're 2-0 down against that QPR team, which is unacceptable. And that's the thing that's been happening a lot as well, with especially we haven't played well in a long time. We have not played good football in a very long time. What we've been having though is Hail Marys. We've been coming back from deficits and coming back to win games. But even then against QPR, I remember me saying on the match reaction, the football gods were saying, no, you've had enough. Get it done properly, man. You're not gonna come back from 2-0 to win this one. Do the job properly from now on. And we just haven't done it in the last few games. 1 win in 5. So there's form there to look at and say Daniel Farke shouldn't be in this position. But I have to look at it from a realistic point of view and think, I just don't see how he gets sacked. Yes, there's a chance that the new manager bounds, but there's also the chance that it just completely picks everything else apart of what's been built so far this season, which overall has been good. But it's a couple of things. Utilize the squad better, change your goalkeeper. And Daniel Farke could just be living the comfy life for the remainder of the season, because once again, the fixture list that we've had, and I include some of the games we've just played, is the most favorable one out of all 3 of us. Sheffield United, Burnley, Leeds United, easily the most favorable. Easily. It's not even close. If one of those 2 had our fixture list, everyone else would be saying we're promoted. But we've stumbled, and we're having a hard time picking it back up even after the international break. Players have gone away for another couple of days now to forget about football till they come back into training. Daniel Farke as well, for me, as well as not being a tactician, isn't a wanted manager. And I've said this before, and I've kept track of it, and I've been right. There's been no reports of him being linked with any other big club, any other club in the division above or across Europe during his time at Leeds United, even with all the records that he's individually broken for himself. There's been no mention of it because people know what his limitations are. When you've seen Kieran McKenna, even when he was at Ipswich getting linked with the moves, even when he got them promoted, he was linked with a Man United post at that point. We saw what happened with Maresca going from Leicester to Chelsea. Michael Carrick at Borough gets linked with West Ham post when it was available. But Daniel Farke is the only one that's not wanted. People know what his playbook is. And the thing is as well, when you look at Daniel Farke, if you as fans or me as a fan can see what he's going to do in games, you better believe that a coach that studies tape, has a data team that goes deeper than I do, pause, will know what he's going to do in game and try and solve him. He's just had the luxury of having the best squad. And that's another thing as well. He's broken all these records, but the championship is nowhere near the league it used to be. This league used to have £8 million midfielders in it, in mid-table teams. Used to have £10 million strikers with teams hoping to get in the top 6. That was before the pandemic. Since then, the purse strings have been tightened. This league is garbage. There's players in this league that legitimately should be playing in League One. Legitimately should be playing League One football, but because the finances aren't as good as they used to be in this division, they're playing championship football somehow. And that, for me, when you're one of the relegated teams using promoted, parachute payments and everything else, it gives you a leg up, as we've seen. And we've utilized it well this season. We've got the squad. I'm sorry, no one can tell me we don't have the squad, but has it been utilized properly? The answer is no. He's got 7 games. Now, this is a question, I think, and this is not kicking the can down the road, but we've got to beat Luton. And this is the problem that he's had. This is the problem he's got now. Because of that draw against Swansea, all the pressure's on that Luton game. And if we don't beat Luton, this question is just going to come up again. It's going to come up again. People are going to say, we can't do this anymore. 6 games to go. We're risking too much with this manager. He's lost it. And if we don't beat Luton away on a tricky time at around 12:30, where we don't do very well, it's near London, in London, I guess. Again, something that we don't do well historically. He's going to have these questions come up again. He is. But I'm interested in your thoughts on this now, people. So give me your thoughts in the comments on what you would do. And I want you to be realistic as well. I know people are just going to say sack him, but I want you to give me more context behind it. What would you do? Would you go for a short-term fix? Would you hope that Parag has got a long-term successor in mind who is willing to come up? Because let's be honest as well. You can also get those ones where they will come up. They will probably sign a deal, but then they'll ask for a break in the summer. That's another scenario that could happen. You get in a new manager who says, "Yeah, I'd love to manage Leeds in the Premier League, but if we don't get there, I'm leaving in the summer." You can have that upheaval too. So give me your thoughts and feelings in regards to anything I've said here, or your own thoughts in regards to Daniel Farke's position, and let me know in the comments, guys. Like the video before you go. That's been the video. Peace out.